This is lesson 19 of beer characteristics, and in this lesson we're discussing the medicinal/wild yeast phenolic character in beer. The medicinal/wild yeast phenolic character in beer are aromas and flavors that come across as medicinal, plastic-like, smoky, or reminiscent of plastic band-aids or electrical tape. This is usually caused by wild yeast or improper sanitation. Looking at the type of phenolic flavors, the medicinal plastic-like phenols are often produced from a wild yeast contamination in the fermentation. Chlorophylls can form a bleach-like character caused by chlorinated water or sanitizer residue. Some causes of these phenolic flavors in beer: wild yeast contamination. Wild yeast can produce off flavors. Wild yeast typically happens when our fermentation and packaging gear isn't properly cleaned and sanitized. Using chlorinated water to brew can develop chlorophenols in beer. And overcrushing or oversparging our grain with too hot or too alkaline of water can extract phenols from the husks in our mash. Some information on the phenolic flavor associated with the wild yeast beer styles. Brettanomyces can produce a leathery horse blanket and barnyard note in the beer. These are acceptable characters in lambics and American wild ales. Outside of those styles, these characteristics are considered flaws and usually attributed to a wild yeast contamination. There are some things we can do to manage these phenolic flavors in brewing. Proper sanitation is always the best course of action. In this case, it helps us prevent wild yeast contamination. Avoiding chlorinated water to prevent chlorophenols from developing. And make sure our sparging process is dialed in. Be sure not to oversparge or with too hot or too alkaline water. The medicinal/wild yeast phenolic character in summary: phenolic flavors can add complexity in specific styles, but are usually flaws in most others. Proper sanitation and water treatment are key to controlling phenolic off flavors. And if we come across this character in a beer we're presented in our judging exam and it's not one of the styles that it's appropriate for, we can note: ensure careful sanitation and proper brewing practices to minimize unwanted phenolic notes. All right, that is it for this lesson. I will see you in the next one.